My friends, I need you to stop what you are doing right now because something important is happening that could put up to $2,000 in your hands, and many of you might not even know about it yet. Letters are being sent out across the country as we speak. And if you are on Social Security, Supplemental Security Income, Social Security Disability Insurance, or you are living on a low income, you need to understand exactly what is going on and what you need to do. Now, I know how confusing things can get when the government starts sending letters and talking about payments and deadlines, and I also know how frustrating it feels when you hear about money that might be available, but you do not know if you qualify or how to claim it. That is exactly why I am here with you today. I want to sit down with you just like we are having coffee together at your kitchen table and walk through everything you need to know about these letters, these payments, and most importantly, what steps you need to take right now to make sure you do not miss out on money that could be yours. Whether you are 75 years old and have been retired for years, or you are 62 and just starting to navigate these benefits, or you are on disability and every single dollar matters to your monthly budget, this information is critical for you. I have spent hours researching the latest updates, reading through government announcements, and talking to people just like you who are trying to understand what is real and what is not when it comes to these payments. So, let us dive in together, and I promise you by the end of our time here, you are going to know exactly where you stand and what you need to do. Now, the first thing I want to talk about is what these letters actually are and who is sending them out. You might have already received one in your mailbox, or it might be coming in the next few days or weeks. And when you see an official-looking envelope, your heart might skip a beat because you are thinking, is this good news or bad news? Let me put your mind at ease right from the start. These letters are coming from various state governments, not the federal government, and they are related to state-specific programs that are designed to help seniors, people with disabilities, and low-income families. Some states are issuing what they call stimulus payments or economic relief payments, while other states are sending out dividend checks or tax rebates to residents who qualify based on their income level and residency status. The amount can vary significantly depending on which state you live in, with some states sending out checks for $300, some for $500, some for $1,000, and yes, in certain cases, up to $2,000 per household. One state, for example, has had multiple rounds of middle-class tax refunds that benefited millions of residents, including many seniors on fixed incomes. Another sends out annual permanent fund dividends to residents, and in recent years, those payments have been around $1,000 to $2,000 per person. Several other states have also issued various forms of tax rebates and relief payments, especially targeted towards seniors and people living on Social Security or disability benefits. What you need to understand, my friends, is that these are not new federal stimulus checks like the ones we received during the pandemic. This is not money coming from the Social Security Administration, and it is not an increase in your monthly Social Security, Supplemental Security Income, or Social Security Disability Insurance payment. These are separate, one-time, or periodic payments from individual states, and the eligibility requirements are completely different from your federal benefits. That is where a lot of confusion comes in because people hear about stimulus payments or $2,000 checks, and they automatically think it is coming from Washington, from the Treasury Department, or from the Social Security Administration. But in reality, it is your state government that is using surplus budget funds or special programs to send money back to residents who need it most. The letters being sent out right now are notifications to residents who either automatically qualify for these payments or who need to take action to claim them. Some of these payments are being sent automatically based on your previous tax returns, while others require you to apply or verify your information before the money can be released. That is the critical part, and that is where I do not want you to miss out. Let me give you a real-life example so you can see how this actually works for someone like you. Imagine you are a 70-year-old widow living in one state, and your only income is your Social Security retirement benefit of about $1,500 a month. You filed your state taxes last year because you wanted to make sure everything was in order, even though your income is low and you do not owe any taxes. Well, that state has issued what they call taxpayer refunds, and these go out to residents who filed a state tax return. If you filed, you automatically received a check or direct deposit of several $100s, and you did not even have to apply for it. The state sent you a letter ahead of time letting you know the payment was coming, and then the money showed up in your account or mailbox. That is the best case scenario, when everything happens automatically and you just need to watch for the payment to arrive. But here is where it gets tricky for some folks. Let us say you are living in another state and you are on supplemental security income, which means you receive about $943 a month and you do not usually file taxes because your income is below the filing threshold. That state has had rebate programs where low-income residents, including those on supplemental security income, can receive payments, but you might need to file a simple tax return or fill out a special form to claim it, even if you do not owe any taxes. If you do not know about that requirement and you do not take action, you could miss out on that money entirely. And that breaks my heart because I know how much a few $100s or even $1,000 can mean when you are trying to pay for groceries, medications, or utilities. So, the question you are probably asking right now is, how do I know if I qualify for one of these payments? And what do I need to do to get my money? The answer depends entirely on which state you live in and what programs your state has available. The best thing you can do right now is to visit your state's official tax department website or call their helpline directly. Every state has a Department of Revenue or a Taxation and Revenue Department, and they should have information on any current rebate programs, stimulus payments, or dividend checks that are available. When you call or visit the website, have your information ready, including your social security number, your address, and details about your income sources like social security, supplemental security income, or social security disability insurance. Many states have specific programs for seniors and people with disabilities. So, make sure you ask if there are any special payments or credits available for people in your situation. Another good resource is your local senior center or area agency on aging. These organizations often have volunteers or staff members who can help you understand what is available in your state and even assist you with filling out any necessary forms. Do not be shy about asking for help because that is exactly what these services are there for. Now, I also want to talk about something really important that could affect your benefits if you do receive one of these state payments. If you are on supplemental security income, you need to be very careful because supplemental security income is a needs-based program with strict income and asset limits. When you receive a one-time payment, like a state stimulus check or dividend, that money counts as income in the month you receive it. And if you do not spend it down by the end of that month, it could count as a resource in the following months. Supplemental security income has a resource limit of $2,000 for an individual and $3,000 for a couple. And if you go over that limit, you could lose your supplemental security income benefits temporarily or even have to pay money back. Let me give you an example. Say you receive supplemental security income of $943 a month, and then in October, you receive a state payment of $1,000. That $1,000 is counted as unearned income in October, which could reduce your supplemental security income payment for that month. Then if you put that $1,000 in your bank account and you already have $1,500 in savings, you would have $2,500 total, which is over the $2,000 resource limit. That could make you ineligible for supplemental security income in November unless you spend down that money on allowable expenses. The key here is to spend the money on necessary expenses quickly, things like rent, utilities, medical bills, food, or other essentials that do not count as resources. You could also use it to pay off debts or prepay certain bills, but you need to be strategic and keep records of how you spent the money in case Social Security asks you about it later. For those of you on Social Security retirement or Social Security disability insurance, this is much less of a concern because those programs are not needs-based and do not have the same strict income and asset limits. You can receive a state payment and it will not affect your monthly Social Security or Social Security disability insurance check at all. However, there are some situations where it could matter, especially if you are receiving other benefits like food stamps, Medicaid, or subsidized housing, because those programs do have income and asset tests. If you receive a large one-time payment, you might need to report it to those programs, and it could temporarily affect your eligibility or benefit amount. My advice is to contact each program directly and ask them how a one-time state payment would be treated under their rules. It is always better to be upfront and ask questions rather than risk losing benefits later because you did not report something you were supposed to. Let me also address something that has been circulating online and causing a lot of confusion, and that is the idea of a federal $2,000 stimulus check or payment coming directly from the Social Security Administration or the Internal Revenue Service. I want to be very clear with you, my friends, because I do not want you to be misled by clickbait headlines or videos that promise money that is not real. As of right now, there is no new federal stimulus payment of $2,000 that has been approved by Congress and being sent out to all Social Security recipients or low-income Americans. The stimulus checks that we received a few years ago during the pandemic were special emergency measures that required congressional approval and presidential signature, and nothing like that has been passed recently. What is real are these state-level payments that I have been talking about, and those are absolutely legitimate and worth pursuing if you qualify. But if you see an ad or a video claiming that the federal government is sending everyone on Social Security a $2,000 check next month, please be skeptical and verify that information through official government sources before you get your hopes up, or even worse, before you click on a link that could be a scam. Speaking of scams, I need to spend a moment here warning you about the criminals who are absolutely salivating at opportunities like this to steal from seniors. Whenever there is talk of government payments or stimulus checks, the scammers come out in full force. They will call you pretending to be from Social Security, the Internal Revenue Service, or your state's revenue department, and they will say something like, "We need to verify your information to send you your $2,000 payment, and we just need your Social Security number, your bank account number, and your date of birth." Please, my friends, hang up immediately. No legitimate government agency will ever call you out of the blue and ask for your personal information like that. If you receive a call like this, hang up and call the official number of the agency directly using a number you find yourself on their official website or on your official correspondence. The same goes for emails and text messages. If you get a message saying you need to click a link to claim your payment or verify your information, delete it. These are phishing attempts designed to steal your identity and your money. The only letters you should trust are ones that come in the mail on official letterhead. And even then, if you are not sure if it is real, call the agency directly using a number you look up yourself, not a number printed on the suspicious letter. Let me talk now about some practical strategies for making the most of any payment you do receive and for maximizing your overall retirement and disability income. If you are fortunate enough to receive a state payment of several hundred or even $1,000 or more, this is a wonderful opportunity to get ahead on some of your financial goals. One of the smartest things you can do is to use this money to pay off high-interest debt like credit card balances, because every dollar you pay down on a credit card charging you 20% interest is like earning a 20% return on that money. Another excellent use is to build up or replenish your emergency fund. If you do not have at least $500 to $1,000 set aside for unexpected expenses like a car repair, a medical copay, or a household emergency, use this money to create that cushion for yourself. Having an emergency fund means you will not have to turn to payday loans or credit cards when something unexpected happens, and that can save you from a cycle of debt that is so hard to escape on a fixed income. You could also use this money to prepay certain bills like your car insurance for 6 months or a year, which often gets you a discount. Or you could stock up on non-perishable food items, household supplies, or medications when they are on sale, which effectively stretches your dollars further over the coming months. For those of you who are trying to maximize your long-term Social Security benefits, let me remind you of a few key strategies. If you have not yet filed for Social Security retirement, and you are between your full retirement age of around 66 or 67 and age 70, every month you delay increases your benefit by about 0.2%, which adds up to 8% per year. If you can afford to wait, even with the help of a state payment or other income, you will lock in a higher monthly payment for the rest of your life. On the other hand, if you are already receiving benefits, make sure you understand how working might affect your payments if you are under your full retirement age. This year, if you are under full retirement age for the entire year, you can earn up to $23,040 before Social Security starts reducing your benefits by $1 for every $2 you earn above that limit. But here's the good news. Once you reach your full retirement age, there is no earnings limit at all, and Social Security will recalculate your benefit to give you credit for any months when your benefit was reduced, so you are not losing that money permanently. As we wrap up here, I want to make sure you walk away with clear action steps. First, if you received a letter in the mail about a state payment, read it carefully and follow any instructions it gives you. If it says your payment is coming automatically, just watch for it and make note of when it should arrive. If it says you need to take action, like filing a form or verifying information, do that as soon as possible before any deadlines pass. Second, if you have not received a letter but you think you might qualify based on your state and your income level, reach out to your state's revenue department or visit their website to find out what is available. Third, if you are on Supplemental Security Income and you receive a payment, make a plan to spend it on necessary expenses within that same month to avoid going over the resource limit. Keep receipts and records of how you spent the money. Fourth, protect yourself from scams by never giving out your personal information over the phone, email, or text message, unless you initiated the contact using official numbers or websites that you looked up yourself. And finally, think strategically about how you will use any money you receive to improve your financial situation, whether that is paying off debt, building savings, or covering essential expenses that will ease your budget in the months ahead. My friends, I hope this has given you the clarity and confidence you need to navigate these state payments and understand exactly what is happening and what you need to do. Remember, knowledge is power, especially when it comes to your money and your benefits. If you found this information helpful, please share it with your friends, your neighbors, your church members, anyone in your life who is on Social Security, Supplemental Security Income, Social Security Disability Insurance, or living on a low income, because they need to know this too. We are all in this together, and the more we can help each other understand these programs and opportunities, the better off we will all be. Take care of yourself, stay vigilant, stay informed, and know that you deserve every dollar you are entitled to. I will be here bringing you more updates as they happen, so stay tuned. And until next time, may you and your family be well.